So, hello friends, I'm here with another video. In the last few videos, we have discussed the initial topics of this Unit 3, in which we talked about the relation between the resource and population. Then we studied the classification of Ackermans of the world into different regions. So, our next topic is the population growth. So, first, before talking about how the population grew in our history and how it may grow in the future, let's first understand what is the population growth. Population growth simply means an increase or decrease. Means it's not only about increase, either change in a population size, increase or decrease in population size over a particular place between 2 points of time. Now, the few important things here is the point of 2 point of time means the change in population can either be decreasing, but in the next span of time it could be increasing. So there could be different phenomenon happening over a particular point of time. That's why 2 point of time is very essential to consider, and then the particular place. For example, it's not necessary that in a particular if the population is increasing in a particular place, then it is also increasing in another place. It is only specific to only one place. So overall population growth is any increase or decrease in population size over a particular place between 2 point of time. Now let's look at the data, like how our population grew in past. So for the first time, our population reached 1 billion in 1804. So after that, it took about 129 years for next 1 billion to increase. So this transition took about 129 years. And then the next 2 billion grew only in about 41 years. You can see the growth rate increased as the time as the our population size increased. For the first billion, it took only 120 it took about 129 years, and for the next 2 billion it took 41 years. So it means the growth rate increased very suddenly in this phase. And for the next 2 billion, it again took about 25 years, only 25 years. So you can see again the time spent decreased. And since 1999, the population of the world was 6 billion, and in 2020 it was 7.8 billion. So it took 21 years to increase 1.8 billion population. And it is expected that by the 2023 the population will be 8 billion, and by 2053 the population will reach 10 billion. So this is the data. This part is the expected one, the predicted one, and this is the real one taken from the history. And now this was the like population in billion. Now let's look at the growth rate. That what was the growth rate? So in 1950, the growth rate was about 1.88%. You can see 1.88%, and you can also see here that the in this phase also 2 billion new members in the population added only in the 41 years. So during that time the growth rate was 1.88, and after that it was 2.07% in 1970. So in you can see initially the growth rate was very much like around 2. In 1990 also it was 1.81, but in 2011 it decreased to 1.21. And in the last 2 years, in the 2 year ago it was in 2020 it was 1.05, and in 20 and it is expected, it is predicted to be continue to decrease in the upcoming years. For example, in 2030 it will be 0.87, percent growth rate. So it is decreasing. In 2050 it will be like very less from the initial one. From 1.88 it is going to decrease. It's decreasing down to 0.53 in 2050. Again here the 2030 and 2050 data is like predicted, expected from the by analyzing the previous data. This was about the population growth. Now let's move on. Now, what are the factors that affect the population growth, either in decreasing or decreasing? So the main three factors are death rate. Death rate is the first one, and then the birth rate and the migration. Now there are different opinions of people. Like some say that controlling death rate may help in controlling the population, whereas some say the controlling the birth rate may help in controlling the population, and some want to ban the migration. Now let's see, migration is when the people which are not the original citizens of the country, they migrate from other countries to the particular country. That is the migration. So what is death rate? Death rate is that how many people are dying in a country in a particular year. The death rate is high due to the less health infrastructure, and I mean the lower standard of life, not very hygienic, and like the many problems are there due to which the death rate is very high. And then the birth rate is high due to many reasons. We will see them one by one. So these three factors are very now if we look at the history. So whichever controlled the population always worked on the death rate, always, and that resulted in the control of the population. So death rate is the birth rate always follows the death rate. If we control the death rate, birth rate will also be controlled on its own. And now let's see one by one about what factors are there which may help in controlling death rate and birth rate. So first of all, let's know that what makes this death rate so high. So first is this health facility. If they are very less health facility, like it is either too expensive or there are not enough medical facilities, opportunities, or the infrastructure is not there, and the more advanced system is not present there. So due to that, more people cannot be saved. And due to that reason, people in the past, people have this mindset that they will give birth to around 10 to 11 child, and if, at least half of them will survive. So that was the survival rate at the time, and that was the reason of the high birth rate. So if we control death rate, they will have a surety. They will have a security that yes, it may survive till the end. So due to which the birth rate on its own will come under control. So this was the and other than life expectancy, life expectancy will also on its own will also come under control if we work on the health facility and other environmental situation conditional things. Now there are government policies which also help in controlling death rate or birth rate. For example, in China, there is the two-child policy. So policies like that. A few time ago in India, it was in news that India should also uh, work on bringing this two-child policy. And other than their financial conditions, some have mindset that more children will bring more money. Like all of them will be working and they will bring more money, due to which the birth rate is very high. So the financial condition are also a reason behind the high birth rate. And then there is education. Like less the educated people always go for a very small family, like 4 to 5 family members. So education also also brings them with the with these contraceptive things which they may use. and then the preventions, as I said, the contraceptive things, and then the land disintegration, like in the villages, as the more the child, the more the land will be disintegrated. So which may urge someone to think to to have only one or two child. So the major part of the land uh, will remain in the hand of a single or two individual. Then there are the migration policies. So migration policies, as I said, like people migrate some illegally and some legally to a particular country for various reasons, like the employment, better facilities, opportunities, things like that. So there are many countries who have different migration policies. Some have banned migration, and there are different kind of policies around the world. So we talked about all these three factors. Now let's look again at this data, which is of the data. This data is of Japan. Like Japan have, Japan's population is decreasing right now. It is in the decreasing mode, decreasing phase. For example, let's see at the so here 10,000 persons. So you can see here the population first here was decreasing, and then it increased, and then it from this 1970 or around 1972, it continued to decrease with few exceptions, like here 90 and 1992, things like 1992, around 1992, and after that it almost continued to decrease till 1910, and then it started to decreasing. I mean, the population started to shrinking. So as you can see, from there the population is decreasing. So now it's going in negative. So this is the data of Japan. Now this is the population growth in China, India, Nigeria, and USA. So first, like look at the India. Like India has in 1950 it is about 400 million population, and after that it continued to increase, and in around 2000 the population of India was 1 billion, and then it continued to increase. It will continue to increase, and currently the population is around 1.35, around here. And you can see the China is always ahead in the number of the number of population from India. But in the upcoming years, in like 2028 or 9, or and you can say 2030, the India will surpass China in the population. India will have more population, because the population of China have already started decreasing. Their growth rate have decreased before than India, so their population will start shrinking from 2030, and it will go like go down. And India, the population of India will continue to rise till 2060 and 70, and then it will also start decreasing. This is the predicted data. We can't be sure about it. Now I will look at the United States. United States have a very steady population rise. No, very steady. The population is rising, but it's very steady. The slope is very gentle slope. You can say this is the United States. So the increase in their population is very slow, very steady. And if you talk about the Nigeria have this. The population of Nigeria is continue will rise in the future. It is expected. As you can see here. Now let's move on. This is the population distribution. The next topic we are going to be